Hey, what's going on, everybody? Justin here at Trumful Reads, and as you can see, my bookshelves are starting to look a little bit different. I'm like halfway, I wouldn't even say halfway, I'm like a quarter of the way done reorganizing my bookshelves. I put the fantasy ones over here for now just to try it, see what happens. It does kind of look a little funny because there's going to be a gap right here, at least until I get some more books, but that probably won't take too long. But anyways, let's just get going with the regular video, and what we're going to be doing is a book review for Packing for Mars, The Curious Science of Life in the Void by Mary Roach. And I read this as, I think, my first book for the Tome Infinity and Beyond readathon that Tomes Infinity, the new her new channel name, put out. And it was a really fun readathon, and the challenge, I believe, was to read an author new to me, and Mary Roach has like 6 or 7 books. I've heard they're really good and they're pretty funny and humorous, and I'm always on the lookout for humorous nonfiction, so I decided to pick the space one up, just so it would fit the theme of Tome Infinity and Beyond. So I thought it was pretty cool, and I read it, and I really loved it. I've already put her, I think, other 6 books on my TBR. She's got books on, like I said, well, on this one, about living in space, basically, like on space stations or space shuttles, things like that. She's got one on like cadavers and life, daily life, like in the military, then like eating and sex and stuff, just all kinds of crazy topics. So, but she has a really good humorous slant to everything. Her writing is just excellent. And the best thing about this book, or about her writing, I guess I assume she does this in all her books, is she puts footnotes, like a lot of nonfiction does, but her footnotes are purposely made to be just sort of like tangents that are like really funny or humorous or enlighten you a little bit more on something quirky or funny. Just for example, like one of my favorite ones, on a chapter about like crash test dummies and stuff, to see how many G-forces like humans can, stand like or so we could go like in outer space and stuff. Things like that. Basically, a bunch of test dummies like fell out into like a field somewhere and stuff. But basically, here's the footnote. The dummies were realistic enough to fool a group of officers' wives who had gathered for tea at the home of Air Force General Edwin Rawlings. Without warning, a human form thudded to the ground a few hundred feet from the Rawlings yard. This was followed by Joe Kittinger driving up in a pickup truck and tossing it in the back and speeding away. The women didn't think it was an alien. They thought it was an airman. Later that day, Kittinger received a call informing him that Mrs. Rawlings Guest had complained about the careless nature in which the dead parachutist was handled. So they literally thought, like, some guy literally, like, his parachute didn't work or whatever, and just, fell into the ground from, like, 10,000 feet in there and just died, and they just, like, threw him on the back of a pickup truck in the name of science. But, I mean, most of the footnotes are funny like that. And like I said, I really enjoyed this book. It was more about, not, like living on Mars or something, even though it's called Packing for Mars. It's more like just daily life in outer space. And there's a lot of facets of human life that you have to like think through before you can basically live in outer space. But yeah, she has lots of really cool chapters basically on just like daily life and things that, have to be planned out way in advance that you wouldn't always think to plan out until basically all these problems occur after like the first attempt, from sleeping in space, eating in space, all kinds of things, and basically no one knew how any of this was going to work the first time around, obviously. She also has like quirky chapters and interviews with famous cosmonauts and astronauts, stuff like that. It's really fun. She even has a chapter on Ham and Enos. If you guys know who those are the monkeys that like the United States like used before we sent astronauts into space and stuff. Basically, they're like their like careers and stuff. So lots of cool, quirky stuff in there. I really enjoy it. Like I said, I'm definitely gonna pick out a bunch of her other books and read them, hopefully in the near future. Overall, I thought Packing for Mars was a great book. It was really easygoing. Her writing style is really smooth. She brings up a lot of quirky stuff, funny stuff, humorous stuff, and that's why I think if you're intimidated by nonfiction, maybe you should give Mary Roach a try. She's got a whole bunch of other books on other topics, like I said. I think her first one, that was her most famous, was a book on like corpses or cadavers or something, and it's called Stiff. So if all her books are in the same writing style, which I assume as this one is, I'm going to be picking up pretty much her entire bibliography. And like I said, if you're intimidated by nonfiction, Mary Roach would be a good author to get into, just because, like I said, she's very humorous, but you still learn a lot, and it's just really easygoing and a fun read. So, yeah, I definitely go check out her other books if you're not interested in this one, just to see if you could give her a try and try out some nonfiction. And I'm going to give Packing for Mars a solid 5 out of 5 stars, because like I said, I learned a lot. I laughed out loud quite a few times, and it was humorous, so it was just a really good read. So there you have it, 5 out of 5 stars for Packing for Mars by Mary Roach. And always remember, whatever you're reading, read victoriously.